Hello and welcome back to the Augurist War 2 thread. With me is...
W Dark.
And all you need to know for context for this scene is Victoria's father we met Victoria's father and he told us to go kill a nearby demon.
We seem to be doing a lot of that.
Yeah, we are. We'll be doing that a lot this entire game, actually.
And it has a new model.
Yeah.
Which, that's not something you can count on with Idea Factory.
That is true. That's something that pops up in this game, too. In fact, most of the bosses, I think, look unique. This video is not going to be my greatest hour. I'll just tell you that right now. Although this boss and the next one we'll be doing this video, they are actually surprisingly difficult for this part of the game. They are not pushovers in any sense of the word. And for the first time, a boss is bringing in allies. Now the thing with boss allies is that they're kind of a godsend because attacking the boss, especially in later ones, can be really dangerous, but the mooks are always much weaker than he is. So you can attack them and get ultimate points before actually tackling the boss himself.
And man, he one-rounded you. Ooh, are they buffing each other?
They are. Enemies can do that to each other. And as you might guess, going after the mooks before the big guy is universally a good idea. There's never a time when attacking the most powerful enemy first is a good idea. But this is a favorable series of events because I got to activate Foresight again.
That guy got guard broke pretty fast, didn't he?
Yeah, this guy, he's a mage enemy, so they're pretty weak to physical attacks. So it's a good idea to pound on him first. And I advise that you don't use ultimate strikes lightly, but to get rid of the boss's allies, it's not a bad idea at all to just make sure to kill him. Because while the enemies are still active in a formation, they get additional action points, so that's not something you want.
No, it's not, judging by the 2 deaths you've had already.
Yeah. I mean, there's not really anything I could have done to stop that. He could have killed anyone he chose.
I'm just glad the protagonist isn't load-bearing.
Yeah. And even a strong enemy like this will miss a lot with Foresight on. The thing with Foresight is that it's only really useful in the first generation because starting early in the second generation, enemies have such absurdly high accuracy that it's basically pointless to try to evade their attacks.
That's no good.
Yeah. I meant when I said that evasion is one of those things that sounds nice but doesn't really work out all that well. And notice Fiona is holding a little dagger. That's because she can equip swords and stabs. Although Fiona using a sword just looks kind of weird to me most of the time.
It does, sort of.
And yeah, this guy is weak to light magic, which makes Fiona a valuable ally here, since she's the only one with a light elemental original skill. There's absolutely no point to ultimate striking him right now. Rare stealing from this guy, it's not too important, but you really want to rare steal from the next boss we'll be fighting, since he drops a couple incredibly valuable items, but they're valuable only for selling, really, at this point in the game. They do give you a lot of money. At a
Well, money's always good.
Yeah. Especially at this point in the game where you can't easily grind for money since the enemies drop so little typically.
That's always a problem with the early parts of games like this.
Yeah, the early part of this game, it's much tougher than you'd think at first, since you don't have a lot of options in terms of attacking. You can't really afford to get your characters KO'd constantly because you have to spend money to replace them, and you just don't have a lot of it. So, but with boss fights, you can typically just tank your losses. I mean, it's not like you're getting through this fight without somebody getting KO'd at some point.
Apparently quite a lot of somebodies.
Yeah.
Do they ever at any point call Victoria a Valkyrie?
What her second original skill is called Valkyrie Climb.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so she is referred to as a Valkyrie at one point, though indirectly.
Yeah. I mean, if this game had a class system, I would not be surprised if they called her Class Valkyrie.
Oh yeah, she's clearly inspired by one.
So does this guy ever resummon his allies, or...?
No, they're dead permanently. Ow!
Did he just overkill? Holy crap.
Yeah, he overkilled Fiona instantly, KO'd Janus, and almost killed Weiss, but then he went and attacked him again, so yeah. I lost 3/4 of my team in a single attack.
Yeah, that's not fucking around.
Yeah,
if your team had been bunched up more, it could have easily been a game over right there.
Yeah, that's usually how I lose, actually. My formation gets in a bad spot when the enemy is going to use their original skill and just kill everyone instantly. But the good thing is that I am pretty sure he'll never use that again, because the enemy only seems to use each of their original skills once. I mean, later in the game, you'll have bosses stacking up 5 or 6 ultimate points and not doing anything with them.
That seems like an odd oversight.
Well, at the same time, I can kind of understand it, because if the bosses were throwing out original skills all the time, that means your team would spend 90% of the round dead, and you just have no chance to recover, since every time they'd attack, they'd take out at least a couple of your guys. Alright, and notice he just used a skill called Obscuring Fog.
So I'm guessing that raises his defense now?
You'll see.
Or I should say evade.
Watch carefully at the end of this animation. Didn't do any damage. Obscuring Fog will make all magical attacks do nothing.
That's not what I would expect based on the name.
Yeah, but I didn't notice Moonshine didn't do any damage until about halfway through that attack. He doesn't have that much HP, so I'll kill him next turn. But yeah, see, this is what I hate about the bigger enemies, is that they'll sort of come over to your side of the field and mess up formations. one thing I don't like is that when the enemy uses an EX skill of their own, it's not always entirely clear what that EX skill just did because nothing about them changes outwardly, but yeah, battle rank E. And I believe the lowest rank is I. So it's not like I did awful, it's just that could have been done better. I can't wait until we get to the post-game dungeon, where enemy evasion rates are so high that you pretty much need an EX skill that guarantees physical attacks will always hit. Since they will dodge everything. It is absurd. And I'm talking about the highest tier of equipment will pretty much always miss against them. It's just ridiculous how high it is.
That is indeed ridiculous.
But yeah, the game talks about why demons seem to be going after Fiona a lot, but I don't think the game ever says why that is. It's just that they do. And the reason I think going for Feline first is the better idea is because Victoria's boss is definitely tougher than either of Feline's. Otherwise, there's not really any need to, because as you might notice when I post the update, Feline is not in any of Victoria's scenes. You can really do them in any order you want, it doesn't matter that much. In fact, I'd say going for Victoria, just an outward appearance, is the smarter idea first. Because the bird enemy at the end of last update, that was weak to lightning, which Victoria's original skill is elemental of. But the first time I played this game, I did get Victoria first, because the game drops you an Aegisthus before it even mentions you might have to go back to the forest. And since I had the 0 clear bonus armor on one of my female characters, they were pretty much invincible. And to introduce the second boss battle of this update while they're talking, basically in each generation you'll get 4 tiny little scenes in town where a character will mention that a demon's been sighted or they've heard some reports. And that summons a mini-boss somewhere on one of the continents, and you go there and fight it.
I'm pretty sure I've seen this one before, though. This model.
Yeah, we fought him last update, too.
Is it just me, or does our protagonist have a low magic defense?
It's not that high, but it's not as low as Victoria's is. He's pretty evenly balanced right now, actually.
Yeah, it just seemed like he was taking more damage from magic than from attacks there.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. But yeah, as per general RPG logic, enemies that primarily use magic are more vulnerable to physical attacks. I was pretty glad I didn't have to use an ultimate strike to get rid of that Lamia. Because anytime you don't have to use one is a good time, because there's no, unless you were just absolutely psychotic and wanting to overkill enemies constantly, there's no real point in using them if you don't have to. And yeah, because that Lycanthrope was attacking Weiss when he was in a yellow square, that means he has such unbelievably bad accuracy, you can't hit him at all. And I'm glad the enemies are punished for attacking targets in yellow squares, because most of the time in games they just cheat and ignore those kind of penalties, but not with that. They actually are effective if they attack outside of range.
It's nice to see the enemy having to play by some rules.
Yeah. This game is actually pretty good about enemies that don't cheat. I mean, unless I'm missing something, they just never blatantly break a rule of battle. They have to play by the same you do. Because when enemies use original skills, their weight will go up pretty high too. So even if your team gets devastated, you have a little time to recover.
That's good.
And the other thing enemies will do is that when they're attacking a target and it gets KO'd, they'll just stop attacking instantly. They can't like switch to a new target. And yeah, as I mentioned, it's very important you rare steal from this guy. Uh-oh, and now he has an original skill charged up.
It seems like a good time for some kind of area of effect heal if you got me.
I do not have anything like that. There is a skill like that, but I don't think you get it in the first generation. And yeah, notice how much Janus is missing. And look how much my troops are spread out, yet that still kills them all instantly. I really wish I knew what Janus was saying when he gets revived. He sounds very enthusiastic about it.
So did you just use an AoE revive, or
no?
did you have...
I used 3 individual blessed leaves.
So you can use multiple items per turn?
Yeah, as long as you have the action points to do it, you can do anything.
Okay.
I'm not sure how the game decides what happens to characters where they are on the field when they get KO'd, but if they were all bunched together, I'd use a fragment of life and revive everybody instantly, but they were too spread out for me to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Earth Spike is a really weird move because I don't think you can get that skill normally. It's the one skill in this game that enemies have that you don't, I believe. Not sure what happened there. And since I noticed that some people were actually playing this game alongside with me, don't be an idiot like me and keep Eva out of this fight, because this guy is vulnerable to darkness attacks, and Eva's original skill is a darkness attack. It does like maybe 8 to 1,000 more damage than any follow-up. And the rare drop I just got from him is called an attachment. And what that does is that when you go to the blacksmith after a certain point in the game, you can basically attach items to weapons to make them stronger. You can see what every item does before you attach one, so you don't end up wasting anything. And each weapon has what's called grade, and that influences what you can put on it. The more powerful attachments, they cost more grade, so you just can't throw everything on a single weapon. Have it be all awesome. The thing I would advise with attachments is that you don't blow them on early game equipment. You can synthesize new.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, the thing with attachments is that you shouldn't just throw them all on a weapon willy-nilly, especially ones that you get early in the game, because you want to save attachments for the more powerful weapons you get in the third generation or so. Look how little HP that guy has.
Do characters have to be alive to get XP?
Yeah. And if they're not alive at the end of a battle, you have to go to the Hunters Guild to revive them, and that costs more money. So, it's definitely in your best interest to keep everyone alive at the end of a battle.
Yeah, I remember in Braces there were several times where I'd have someone die in like the last 2 seconds and miss out on huge chunks of XP.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this is going to be the last video with 2 boss fights in it until very nearly the end of this generation.
Well,
Yeah.
should be alright.
And another E.
Yeah, what you gonna do?
Whatever.
Did
We
you just,
yeah.
did you just,
Yeah. Go ahead.
did you just level multiple times?
Yeah. Oh, don't even get me started on multiple levels because I got 48 million, more than 48 million experience from the sort of big boss battle of Agarest War Zero, and everyone just gained 48 levels instantly. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
Alright, well, thanks for joining me.
no problem. Right.